right, so let's start with some congratulations to Cardi B and Offset. So Cardi hit Instagram yesterday to announce the birth of her daughter, Kulture Kiari Cephas, if I'm saying the last name correctly. Congrats to these two, Cephas, who recently got married as well.
Yeah.
Big congrats to them.
Yes, congrats to Cardi B and Offset.
Rockstar family.
Hip-hop royalty.
That's facts. They are hip-hop royalty. All I got to say is that she killed this pregnancy thing. Like, she didn't go ghost. She did. She killed this pregnancy thing. She didn't go ghost. Now that her baby's here, of course, she's probably going to take some time to, of course, raise the kid. But when she's back, it's going to be over. Yeah, like, if she did all that while being pregnant.
Oh, yeah, she's no joke. Like, I was in Atlanta, like, a couple weeks ago, and people was like, yeah, you know, she's about to come to the studio. I'm like, ain't she about to have a baby any day now? They're like, yeah, she's still in the studio. Like,
she's not playing.
Up until, what, yesterday? That's insane. You know,
the baby's just going to be with her everywhere. She's going to be out here. Yes. Right, not taking a long break.
Baby going to have a hell of a work ethic, too. For real.
I just want to see, I'm not going to lie, this might be the only hip-hop baby that I could overthrow aside, man. I'm sorry. This baby going to have the swag, man. This baby might not even cry. It might just only ad-lib, yo.
That was a good one. I ain't going to
All right, he's up. He's up. Welcome, Academics. All right, so Cardi recently had a guest verse on Yachty's single, Who Want Smoke? And she says, for the record, she is the king of New York. Now, Wayno, can't wait to hear your input on this. I think the last time we had this conversation was 6ix9ine saying he was the king of New York, and people were like, hello, did you forget about Cardi? She's killing it. She has like 2 Hot 100 hits at the moment. Yeah. Is Cardi the king of New York?
Well, prior to me, you know, joining my great co-host on this amazing show, I tweeted that. I tweeted that Cardi was the king of New York, and the reason why I said that, I said because if she were a man, with all the accomplishments she has, right? Now, let's take away all the skill shit and everything. Okay, Cardi's not the best rapper. When it comes to criteria of rappers being the best as far as lyrical ability, we know that people have written for her. But when you talk about in terms of an artist, if a dude from New York would accomplish all this stuff, everybody would have been saying New York is back. They forget that this girl is from the Bronx, only because she moved to Atlanta. Like, she's really from the Bronx and she's really putting on. So the whole thing with the King of New York thing, I think it's a funny topic now. It's not as serious as it used to be. Personally, I don't feel like there is a King of New York, period. But I thought that was a good play to get people going. You know?
And the King of New York is Barty, okay? Let's keep it 100. Now, first of all, it's the elephant in the room. This was definitely a shot to Nicki. Nicki dropped an album called Queen, right? Yeah, you queen of hip-hop, but I'm king of where you come from. We be forgetting that Nicki's from New York. You get me? Like, Cardi's the king. I'm sorry. Cardi's the king. And what was interesting is that, because she put up a couple of videos kind of defending it, because after the record came out, people were kind of hot and bothered, which was interesting, at least to me, because I'm thinking there was more backlash of her saying she's the king of New York than when Kendrick said it on Control. Like, when Kendrick said I'm the king, everybody said, fuck it, he the king. You know what I mean? Kendrick from the West. But with her, you know, people are going to always say, she don't really write. Like, she's not as talented, whatever.
But all types of stuff.
But obviously, and when she was saying that she's a king, she says, listen, I get a lot of respect in my city, and when I'm there, I feel like I run that shit. And again, she didn't stand all the way behind that point with just her musical accolades. But who's the most successful artist from New York? Again, we know Jay dropped an album, of course, by himself and with his wife recently.
Right, but he's not as
but yeah, we're not considering that. Not considering.
He's
it's
legendary,
a legend, right?
New York,
it's a different conversation.
What are the names we could throw in a hat? Like, what are the other names? We have to say Cardi's the king right now. It would probably be Cardi 1, at 2. Listen, Cardi's the king, Nicki's the queen, and we're gonna call 6ix9ine the prince. Okay?
But no, the reason why people have a problem with this is because people just have a problem with women calling themselves kings.
Right. Like you said, if a dude had said this.
Like, nobody got a problem with Beyonce.
People have problems with that, too.
Yeah, people have problems with that.
Yeah, they'll always find a problem.
But ultimately, like, and Corrupt said it because prior to Kendrick saying it, Corrupt said it on a record way before Kendrick. And what people forget is that the King of New York is a character. That's a character, Frank White. That's why, that's where Biggie's alter ego came from, Frank White. It was a whole, like, play on that whole idea. So ultimately, like, being the king of whatever, you don't, it's like getting the key to the city. That shit doesn't actually open something. Like, you don't get discounts at no hotels for being king of New York and none of that shit. So it's just a fun play on words, and I feel like with Cardi's accomplishments, she definitely runs shit here. You know what I mean? Like, she definitely runs shit here as an artist.
I mean, the more successful you get, the more criticism you're going to face, right? Should she even respond to the backlash?
No.
Well, that's in her nature. Like, she's not the person who sees something going on and ignores it.
Right.
And her fans like it. Some people might get annoyed by it, like, why do you respond to everything? But it makes her feel human. Like, yeah, like, if you guys are saying something that has loud enough voice, I'm going to respond to it. I look at the growth of Cardi B from when she first came in, right before Bodak Yellow, and she didn't feel, or she didn't look like she was very sure of herself. She looked like she didn't know where her place was. To now, I feel like she kind of realized she's that bitch, and she's throwing her weight around a little bit. She's throwing her weight around. If we go back to the motorsport, she kind of realized I could call some shots around this. And now she realized I'm accomplishing a lot. She does, and by the way, I remember we used to kill Nicki for this. She points out every single time her record is doing well.
But she's like new. It makes sense for her, doesn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
She hasn't been doing it for a decade, so.
You're right. But I think she knows I'm really successful. And some of these records that she's breaking records every week now.
And I think a big part of that is that Cardi's not supposed to be here, right? When you look at her journey, right? Like, I mean, she was a stripper. She doesn't stray away from who she is. She was a stripper. Then she was reality star. Now she's one of the top artists in the game in terms of success, right? We're not talking about just ability and skill-wise and all that. We're just talking about success. And a lot of people counted her out from the beginning. When I seen Cardi get signed after, like, Love and Hip Hop, me, myself, I was like, get the fuck out of here. Like, this is not going to work. I can say I said that. But she proved a lot of people wrong. And you got to give her respect. Now, I'm not going to be calling her king. That's just my thing. I think that she's a great artist, and I think that was just a play on words. I don't think she cares really about being king.
All right. Well, I gave my answer. I need you to give a definitive answer.
Okay.
Who do you think is at the seat of the throne when it comes to New York? It could be king or queen. Don't matter to me.
Yeah.
Nicki or Cardi? Because I low-key think her saying this, there's not that many hot artists in New York right now. That could be on that level. So it's Nicki. And again, 6ix9ine doing his thing, but that's like a different level down there.
Yo, all right,
Are you willing to acknowledge that at least right now for New York, Barty's in the lead and she's taking over? And
this is what I'll say. I'll say, right, what I'll say is this. I don't think that the King of New York thing really exists anymore. And the reason why I'm saying that is because for what was set for it, none of that was followed. I felt like nobody followed the tradition of what Biggie laid down or what Jay laid down to be the next guy, right? Now, at this point, and not trying to be funny, we talking about two different women debating over being the king of New York, right? Not queen, but the king. So it kind of deteriorates the idea of that spot. I think that they are the queens, right? Like, yeah, running the game. I just think Cardi is one of the people that runs
right,
the game.
so I think the king and queen is just semantics, right?
Yeah,
I think the
exactly.
idea is like who is like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so
running it.
I don't think that, for me, the position doesn't even exist anymore.
Who running the game? Wayne, man, I don't care if it's king,
Wait,
queen,
why doesn't that
Jester,
person exist? Because no one person is hot enough, or just because times have changed and the definition of the king of New York
I think times have changed and the definition has changed.
Because we could change the criteria, right?
Yeah, you could change the criteria, but I think that for what the criteria was, and the criteria was never followed, what was the criteria anyway, right? Like, I mean, Jay put his feet up and was like, yo, all right, y'all could do it, y'all could have it. And then nobody followed up on that. You know, like nobody followed up on what he had laid down. So now it's just a thing. Now people want to say king of New York and all of this other stuff, like when it really didn't exist for a long time. But I feel like, as far as running the game, we know who runs the game. Like, stop it. Your man runs the game.
6ix9ine?
No, not 6ix9ine.
You talking about?
You said
Drake?
run the game.
No, we
yeah,
talking
Drake
about New York, bro.
New York?
New York. Are you willing to admit that Cardi B in 2018
is the top artist from New York?
Is the chick running the game from New York?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, I say that.
Okay.
Now we just get into the whole like king and queen shit and all of that, and that's why I'm saying it doesn't really exist. But you can't. Nobody can
take gender away and just make it who's running shit.
Who's running shit? Like I don't like. We all over the place today, but you can't negate what she's built, because like I said, she's not supposed to be here. And the thing is, the person who's in the top spot has to rise to that, and she's risen to that.
And have respects in the street, and also have that mainstream appeal that, like, who has that combination like Cardi right now?
Okay,
especially with the baby now.
So let me ask that.
Don't forget the baby.
I already have my stance. I'm just trying to get Wayno's stance clear.
Right.
So we have to get out. Thank you for getting the semantics out of the way.
Right.
We're not talking king and queen no more.
Right.
Queen, though, the album by Nicki, I'm sorry, it's coming in August.
Yeah.
Do you think she's gonna take back the torch, kinda? It's over.
For where Nicki, where Cardi has it right now, and it's unfortunate that we got to pit them against each other, because if we're talking about best female rappers, I put Rhapsody over both of them. Like, for real, when we talking about best female rappers. But as far as who's running it from a mainstream to influential line, Cardi. It
was funny. Yesterday I was watching some upset stans. They were arguing that Cardi B's birth was fucking up Nicki Minaj's rollout plan. And I was like, yo.
The baby?
Yeah, they were like, yo.
But you know what? Because now it's all these new narratives. People look at it as
stealing attention. Like, oh, you're stealing attention. I'm like,
listen. Like, she planned to get pregnant and knew that Nicki was like, come on, yo, people go too far with this shit. Like,
yeah.